Alkylation is a secondary refinery unit operation that many refineries have because it adds high-octane hydrocarbons to motor and aviation gasoline. High-octane hydrocarbons are needed to help prevent auto-ignition of gasoline, also known as knocking, in an engine and to meet recommended engine octane ratings.
Alkylation offers several key advantages to refiners, including the highest average quality of all components available to the gasoline pool, increased amounts of gasoline per volume of crude oil, and high heats of combustion. Alkylates permit use of internal combustion engines with higher compression ratios, and hence the potential for increased miles per gallon. Alkylates burn freely, promote long engine life, and have low levels of undesired emissions. Unlike other refining processes, such as cracking, which increases the total volume of products versus the feedstock by reducing density, alkylation takes two low-density feedstocks and produces a higher density product. The feed volume is reduced by about 30% while maintaining the same weight. The process combines an unsaturated light hydrocarbon, such as propene or butene, with isobutane to produce alkylate. Either sulfuric or hydrofluoric acid is used as a catalyst for the alkylation reaction. The resulting product is usually a 7 or 8 branch carbon molecule.
Each catalyst also has different operating conditions, like temperature and pressure, along with different safety considerations. Sulfuric acid is a liquid at unit operation conditions, while hydrofluoric acid is a gas at unit operating conditions.
The alkylation process consists of running the hydrocarbons in liquid form. Enough pressure is used to ensure that, and at low temperature and with a high isobutane to olefin ratio. The reaction products are sent to an acid settler where the acid is recycled back to the reactor. Products are then separated into gaseous liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, propane and N-butane, and the desired product of alkylate. Commercial refinery plants operate with the C3 and C4 hydrogen streams. Alkylation involving high molecular weight olefin or isoparaffins are not attractive, partly because of numerous side reactions such as hydrogen transfer. In addition, sulfuric acid concentration is maintained at about 90% weight. Operation below this acid concentration generally causes polymerization. In order to prevent polymerization of the olefin, an excess of isobutane is charged to the reaction zone. More effective suppression of side reactions is produced by the higher isobutane to olefin ratios. Also, some form of heat removal is essential because the heat of reaction is approximately 14 times 10 to the fifth power joules per kilogram, or 600 BTU per pound. Therefore, the overall process is a composite of complex reactions, and consequently rigorous control is required of operating conditions and of catalysts to assure predictable results. DuPont is a pioneer in developing a new clean technology, the Stretco alkylation technology. It produces the highest quality alkylate in a flexible and highly reliable process, thus obtaining cleaner burning gasoline with high octane, low sulfur, no aromatics, and zero olefins. According to Amarjit Bakshi, President and CEO of Refining Hydrocarbon Technologies, sulfuric acid alkylation is becoming increasingly popular in recent years due to safety and environmental concerns with hydrofluoric acid alkylation. Due to its efficiency, More than 60% of the worldwide production of alkylate using a sulfuric acid catalyst is obtained from the Stratco Clean technology.
By doing an average on the price of each area of the US selling gasoline, it was calculated that each gallon of gasoline is sold in $2.21. Knowing that a barrel is composed of 42 gallons of gasoline, then the income per barrel is around $92.82. Taking as a basis the average daily production of barrels in Mexico during 2018, which is 155,000 barrels, the daily income is around 14 million per day. Based on the following investigation, the cost of refined gasoline is $0.60 per gallon. It is known that a barrel of gasoline has 42 gallons and the daily production of barrels in Mexico in 2018 was about 155,000 barrels, so the cost of refining gasoline is $3 million. The daily net income of the refining industry is approximately $10 million.
Refining cost varies depending upon the type of crude oil, the configuration of the refinery, the size of the refinery, final product specification, and the additives that are used to enhance it, and the products produced. Operating costs for sulfuric acid technologies tend to spread equally among steam, electric power, and acid costs. The process employs either electric or turbine drives for the reactors and compressor to optimize refinery utilities. The operating cost for sulfuric acid alkylation depends heavily on reactor design, feed regeneration, residual contaminants, and the cost and availability of sulfuric acid regeneration.
Regardless of the acid catalyst used, the alkylation process reacts with hydrocarbon that has double bonds, such as propylene and butylene, with isobutane. The resulting product is usually a 7 or 8 branched carbon molecule. Alkylation of isobutane with C3C5 olefins involves a series of consecutive and simultaneous reactions. Only isoparaffins containing a tertiary carbon atom are found to undergo catalytic alkylation with olefins. Reactions and products are readily explained by the carbonium ion mechanism.
The process conditions are easily attainable since they do not require high temperatures and pressure. The process is held at lower than 50 degrees Celsius and 30 bars. For the alkylation to occur and to avoid side reactions, a high isobutane concentration is required. Since this process involves an exothermic reaction, a cooling jacket should be used for controlling the temperature. In addition, the strength of the catalytic acid affects the reaction conversion. The ideal concentration of the sulfuric acid, which depends on the mixing efficiency, has to be between 93 to 95% weight for the best alkylation quality and highest yield.
The ideal reactor is a CSTR type reactor, which is preferred in the commercial alkylation processes. The improved mixing in this CSTR reduces the olefin concentration and improves the stability of the catalyst. In the process, solid acids and zeolites suffer from rapid catalyst deactivation due to the oligomerization of butenes that produces bulky molecules that block the catalyst pores. Processes involved a PBr, suffer from rapid catalyst deactivations once the oligomerization takes place on the first layer of the catalyst-packed bed, lowering deconversion. In addition, the catalyst's lifetime is between 10 to 100 minutes, depending on the olefin space velocity and the paraffin-olefin ratio of the feed. Here we have a list of benefits of using a CSTR reactor in this type of process. The first one is that it allows the catalyst to live up to 20 hours. The second one is overcoming rapid deactivation. The third one is that it enables a well-mixed mixture since it's a homogeneous reactor. Then we have that the conversion is higher than if we used some other type of reactors. Moreover, if we add a recycled stream coming from the distillation to the reactor, it will permit a higher conversion.
In this CSTR, there is an olefin inflow as a main inflow, an isobutane inflow that will be reacting with the olefin, and as a catalyst, a sulfuric acid inflow. As it can be seen in the presented stoichiometric table, the outflows are in function of the conversion and the stoichiometric coefficients of the reaction. The main outflow will be the one of the alkylate that is our product in this process. As we remember from the general mass balance equation, where inflow minus outflow plus generation equals accumulation, in the CSTR we have a steady state, this meaning that there will be no accumulation. From this we can rearrange and solve for B for getting a CSTR volume equation. But we couldn't use this formula to calculate the reactor volume because a rate of reaction value is required for this calculation. The reaction rates of the reactants involve the rate of the intermediate reactions that take place in the reactor. In the table are presented only the rates that involve the olefin. These are classified as the initiation rate, reaction rate, the primary reaction rates, the self-alkylation reaction rates, and the destructive alkylation reaction rates. Generally, the reaction rate used is the one for the slowest reaction. That is also an unknown data. Calculating the reactor volume. From DuPont data, it was found that the residence time for the alkylation process is of 30 minutes, and from Pemex, we obtained the daily production of gasolines. From this data, the reactor volume calculation can be started. The olefin space velocity can be calculated using the residence time, where the inverse of the residence time in hours will be equal to the olefin space velocity. Then, for calculating the reactor volume, a relation between daily production and space velocity was used, where the volume will be equal to the production divided by the olefin space velocity. The obtained volume with these calculations made is of 514 cubic meters. This reactor size is significant because of the large scale production. Since the CSTR reactor was elected, a possible solution to reduce the size is to have some CSTR reactors connected in series. For the flow rate calculation, we already have the previous conditions of temperature and pressure, and we also have calculated the space velocity. As assumptions, we have the catalyst volumetric flow and a conversion of 0.8. First, the volumetric olefin flow was obtained with a relation of the catalyst volumetric flow assumed and the olefin space velocity that we calculated before. Once the value was obtained, we assume that the olefin was an ideal gas, where the olefin inflow will be equal to pressure times volume divided by R times temperature.
It is important to start with the fact that the calculations were based on different assumptions. The first one is that the olefins, being the limiting reactant, behave like an ideal gas. For the calculation of the molar flow rate, we use the conditions that we had previously established from our research. And with those parameters, a molar flow rate of 74.032 moles per second is obtained, which we consider is a small number for the process. This discrepancy happens because the olefins involved in the process are not really ideal gases. They are complex gases, and also the volume used is based on a proposed amount of acid. By the other hand, we found that if we calculate the reaction rate using the molar flow rate, it would be also too small, which doesn't make sense if we have a space-time of 30 minutes. Another aspect to consider is that we only use one CSTR for the calculations. We could also use more CSTRs in series, and that would give us a different molar flow rate. Finally, we can conclude that the selected process is very complex and it needs a lot of research in order to have a deeper understanding of how the gas is produced by this way. Thank you.